Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. What I mean by that is if that you're doing $1 million in revenue and your costs are 1.1 million, that is a terrible business. You are not going to survive. What tasks can we get out of the people who cost a lot of money in the business? That person costs $50 an hour. How can I stop them sending emails? Unproductive, unrevenue generating activities. Let's get that outsourced. What does it cost you to get a customer? It's critical that you know your numbers because numbers drive the outcomes.
Time to get fired up. Yeah, I'm getting fired up.
Your thoughts can become plans, plans can become actions, and actions become a reality. We share powerful stories and simple steps to fast track your business and personal growth. Are you ready to make it happen? Let's get fired up. Welcome back. In today's episode, we're talking about the numbers and metrics that drive your business. It shocks me how many people aren't across this. It's critical that you know your numbers if you are running a business, if you're working in a business, because numbers drive the outcomes. So what are the key things? I think number one, obviously, we all probably agree with this, is revenue. That's the money coming into the business. So you need to have a clear record and management of the revenue coming into the business, but you also need to have targets, right? You need to know what your revenue target is for this month, this quarter, and this year. So I would always have that metric, and that will be running through accounting software, and that's obviously for the results that have happened, but then some sort of tracking platform or system can be as simple as Excel if it needs to be, just to capture those numbers around what those revenue numbers and results will be. One of my favorite sayings is revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. What I mean by that is if that you're doing $1 million in revenue and your costs are 1.1 million, that is a terrible business. You are not going to survive because the cash will kill you. So profit is the thing that I think everybody needs to look at. Now, there's two types of profit. You've got gross profit and net profit. Gross profit is the revenue minus the cost of goods sold, right? So if I sell 1,000 hats at $4 each and those hats cost me $1 each, that's my gross profit number, right? And that's my gross profit margin. But what else has to come out of that revenue that's coming into the business is the operational costs. You've got the website, the hosting, the marketing materials, all of the expenses that are related into running it, the mobile phones, the internet, everything. So once you take out the business costs, that's net profit. And that's the net profit margin that you must have. So that to me is one of the most important things. Because if you think about this, having a business that's doing low transaction volume at a high ticket item will generally have more gross profit and more net profit in it. But it's harder to get more expensive customers, it's harder to sell more expensive things, and it's harder to sell more expensive services. And that usually comes with a time comparison as well. But knowing those things is very, very important. So I would be focused on the revenue number, the gross profit number, and the net profit number. Some of the things that I want to go into now is really around the metrics that drive your business. So a lot of that can essentially start in terms of, it could be lead generation, right? So how many leads have we got this month? Now, leads can come in from website inquiries, from phone calls, from 1-300 numbers. You need to be measuring the amount of people that have shown interest in your business to make a transaction. So that's the first lead number. Then it would go down to the next conversion number, which is how many of these people have we spoken to? How many of these people have we provided a quote for? So then that becomes down to the next step. Out of the 100 leads, how many did we actually interact with or get down to a sales qualified lead? Then from that number, you're going down to actually selling and sales. So out of the quotes we've done, out of the phone calls we've had, how many of those have turned into customers? And that's your sales cycle. That's your funnel cycle, right? So knowing those is really, really important because it will relate to other areas of the business. I'll give you an example of this, right? So if you're getting 100 website inquiries a month, and out of those 100 website inquiries, you manage to talk to 50 customers, and out of those 50 customers, you manage to sell 20 customers, that conversion funnel moving down there, you need to be very much across that, because if we come back to the top of the funnel, if those 100 leads came from your Facebook ads that cost you $1,000, you can now start to just add zeros onto it, right? So you go, we spend $1,000, we've got 100 leads. So if we spend $10,000, we get 1,000 leads. And then out of the 1,000 leads, we'll talk to 500. And then out of the 500, we close 200. Here's our revenue projection. And if we do that revenue projection, and that's our gross profit number there, how can we now get efficiency out of these other operational costs to increase that net profit number? Without the profit, you will die eventually. Might not happen month 1 or month 2, but it will get to the point where your business just either breaks even or runs a loss. And that's not going to be good for your lifestyle, which is the whole reason that you're doing the business anyway, right? A friend of mine ended up investing more in executive assistants than any other part of his business. This decision revolutionized his workflow, enabling him to focus on strategic priorities. With Athena, you can achieve the same. Athena's elite assistants take care of everything from scheduling and emails to project management, freeing you up to concentrate on what drives your business forward. Check out how Athena has helped thousands of entrepreneurs and professionals streamline their operations and reclaim valuable time at athena.com. Go to the partners page on the Fired Up Life group where there's an exclusive link to get your benefit discount. Here's what kills most things, and it is a constant challenge, and I am going to talk about this in the future episode, so stick around for that, but it's cash flow. That is the money in and the money out. Now, when you have a job, this is quite easy because the cash flow doesn't change. Generally, it doesn't change, right? But you get paid a certain amount of money every week or every fortnight or every month. That money comes into the bank account, and out of that, you pay your rent or mortgage, your groceries, your bills, your incidentals, and everything else. Money in, money out. That's it. When it comes to a business, the money coming in does go up and down. I mean, there's a lot of monthly recurring models and stuff where they can get a bit more predictable on it. But generally, that figure can change, whether it's by client acquisition, whether it's by customer churn, or whether it's by, peak sales months, seasonality, offers and deals and everything else. But like I mentioned before, if you're going to double down on the marketing spend, now your expenses have increased to what they were last month. But at the same time, you've doubled down on that marketing spend because you're trying to fill the funnel to move the conversion rate through to the sales. So this one gets tricky, particularly when you're coming into business decisions around growth and scale, because growth and scale requires capital. Go back and look at the previous episode, because to ensure that you have got the best amount of cash flow in your business and that you're getting all of the efficiency opportunity, look for those outsourced opportunities. That's where that savings and efficiency is going to come from, is by what tasks can we get out of the people who cost a lot of money in the business. That person costs $50 an hour. How can I stop them sending emails, unproductive, unrevenue generating activities? Let's get that outsourced. Outsourcing generally for any of these things is going to cost between $5 and $10 per hour. That's AU or USD. So if I can get that task over there, now I've just got money back on that person who can focus on dollar productive activity. Cash flow is so important because it is the oxygen of the business, right? And the other thing that makes this important is actually preparation of cash flow. Lots of people, including myself, have been caught out sometimes during the year when the tax bill arrives and it's like, where the F did this come from? Or I had anticipated this to be $5,000 and for some freaking reason, it's $50,000. So you need to keep that buffer in the business, and you need to be prepared for unexplained expenditure, seasonal changes in revenue, and all of those variabilities that sit within it. So I'll put a link in this one actually around cash flow is king, and put in some cheats and tips and techniques and a couple of good books that relate to this. A couple of other quick points on numbers that you should be measuring in your business, kind of regardless of what type of business you're in, whether it's a products business or a service business. Your client or customer acquisition cost, they call this CAC, CAC. What does it cost you to get a customer? right? So if it's costing me $100 to get a customer and they're going to pay me $20 a month, I'm not actually making that money from that customer until month 6. So therefore, I've got to make sure that, hey, how do I retain this customer for a longer term period? Because I'm not actually making money from them from a 6-month period, right? So customer acquisition cost. What does it cost us to get a customer? The next one is the customer lifetime value. And that's really what I was just talking to then. If we put someone on a 12-month program, but we don't start making money until month 6, great. What is the revenue over that 6-month period? Now, what other revenue streams or other add-on services can we put onto that person? So we're actually generating more revenue from the one customer. You see this across all the websites and platforms that you'll be familiar with. Join us now for a 30-day free trial. Go on our standard plan for $10 a month, our pro plan for $50 a month. They're taking people on a lifetime cycle, right? Where they get them in, show them value, show them all the functionality, and then start to charge more for it. And we're okay spending more on it because the value is there. ROI, I'll finish up on this one. ROI means return on investment. Now, some things are just one-off costs and sunk costs, and some things are recurring costs as well. But ultimately, you always want to be looking at it as in terms of what is my return on investment for this? Is it making me money? Is it saving me money? Is it getting me customers? Is it getting me awareness? Is it getting me recognition? Is it getting me brand? And all of those things need to go out there, and you need to determine that spend in relation to that. If I said to you, spend $50,000 next month and it will generate you $200,000 in revenue, you'd probably jump at it, right? So it does take money to make money. You do need to pay to play, but don't just look at things in terms of a return of a financial return, because your time is money. So you need to go, how do I free myself up? How do I free my team up? How do I get consistency in terms of systems and process within the business for customer experience, customer communication, customer interaction, all of that stuff? Because one thing that would really piss me off is that I go and interact with a company and they're getting a different level of service to that person. That person got a quick response. That person's response took 5 days. That response had all the key information. That one did not. You've got to get that consistency throughout it, because that's how you actually build a reputation of providing the same thing very, very well. If you need some cheat sheets or you want some insights into kind of measuring this stuff, I'd be more than happy to share that with you. Just jump into the Fired Up Facebook community and you can ask me or anyone there, has anybody got the template to measure these key metrics within my business? And we'll help you out with that. Catch you later. If you've enjoyed this episode, then subscribe on YouTube or follow our podcast on your favorite platform. We drop a new episode every week. You'll be doing us a massive favor. If you know someone that would benefit from listening to this, then share it with them. You'll be doing them a massive favor. And if you want the tips, tools, and resources to support you on this journey, then join our exclusive Facebook community and follow our socials. You'll be doing yourself a massive favor.